Welcome to Heber Valley Life podcast. I'm Rachel Kahler, Executive Director of the Community Alliance for Main Street, and I'm excited to introduce our guest today, Alfonso Flores. And Alfonso, I reached out to because I really wanted to focus on a couple of community programs that you're involved in, specifically the Heber Valley Rotary and the Latino Coalition. But before we dive into that, will you tell us about yourself? Personal, professional, just a little snapshot of your life, your work. What do you do for fun?
Okay, well, my name is Alfonso Flores. I was born and raised in Mexico, and I came here to the United States as an adult to learn English, and I stayed. I moved to the Valley about 17 years ago when I married my wife, and we've been living here. I have my own insurance agency. I do out-of-home life insurance. It's not commercial, and I like to volunteer in the community. And like you said, I had the opportunity to be part of the Heber Valley Rotary, also the hospital, the Wasatch Hospital Community Board, and I am also a approved court interpreter.
Oh, really?
And so I do a few things here and there, and I'm the co-chair of the Wasatch Latino Coalition.
And how many kids are you raising?
We have 5 kids, 3 are adults. We are blended family. When I married Rochelle, she had 2 and I had 1, but they all live with us and we raise them here. All 3 adults graduated from Wasatch High, and we have 2. One daughter, she's going to high school next year, and the other one is going to 5th grade. So
You're for a little bit of everything right now. That's so great. I didn't know about the court interpreting. How did that come about?
When I moved into the Valley, George Birch was my neighbor, and he said, "Hey, you speak Spanish." I said, "Well, I speak Spanish a lot better than speak English."
Right.
And so he said, "We need a court interpreter," and he gave me the information. I went to the classes and get certifications, and I became a court interpreter.
Do you feel like that was kind of the beginning, though, of you really getting involved in this, the dual language and maybe strengthening your English through that program?
Not necessarily, because I think it was more like a need, because in 2008 when we moved here, that's when the big problem. I was working for a subsidiary of AIG, and so when they went down, they lay off a lot of people. I was one of them, so I needed to find out.
Oh, wow.
I did. I won't tell you all the things I did here in the Valley, but one of them was an opportunity to get a job as a court interpreter, and so I became a court.
But I do think having that language skill really has made you so instrumental in as the community has grown, as we've seen, and really a huge influx of immigration with Hispanic and Latino community and the growth that we're seeing. It's estimated we almost 30% of our high school is Hispanic origin, and you having those language skills and those experiences probably led you to lead out. I don't think.
Oh yes, I have the blessing that I was able to learn English and communicate. I can communicate a lot better in Spanish.
Really?
And one of the things that I liked on myself is that I wanted to become better Spanish speaker. I wanted to, because a lot of people that come here from other countries, they mix a little bit of their language of origin with the English.
Right.
And I said, no, I'm not going to let that happen to me. I want to make sure that I speak good Spanish. And so I've been trying, and I keep trying every day just to improve my Spanish.
Does that convert with your children?
I had 2 kids that were in dual immersion for Spanish, but I'm always working. My wife is the one that is at home, so it's a little difficult. But yeah, they speak Spanish, they understand,
Yeah.
and it's interesting because I've seen studies that said that first generations they lose about 25%, the second generation they lose about 75%, and it's hard to keep the language going, but they understand it, and hopefully in the future they embrace it and they decide to learn more. That's how it happened to me. I was here in the United States. I didn't know any English, and I was struggling. And I said, I need to do something, and I started taking all the classes I could and going to all the places I could, and after I would say 8 9 months, I started understanding a little bit, and something clicked. I would say, okay, maybe I can learn this language and do something with
It
it.
really is the immersion program.
Yeah.
It's drop yourself into that, uh, not just culture, but just community and listening and understanding phrases. It starts. I love it. Well,
Now I get very good. I mean, the best compliment for my language is a lot of people think that I was born here. It's like, no, I wasn't here.
so great. I love it. Well, we have Alfonso Flores here. And the reason why I wanted to really bring you in is to talk about the Heber Valley Rotary. And you're a past president of the Rotary. And I just want to share with the listeners something that I think really is so instrumental in the Rotary's mission, and that's the four-way test. And when you meet weekly, you each say this guiding principle of all the things we think, say, and do. And I'm just going to read it for those that have never attended a Rotary meeting, and that is the four-way test. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? And what impresses me the most, having been a Rotarian and attended those meetings, is you really do live this test in your day to day, and not just you, but all of the Rotarians. And it's an international program. I'm interested why you got involved. What drew you into Rotary? How long have you been participating with this volunteer organization?
Well, I was invited in 2019 to attend a meeting, and I thought that it was a good. I mean, at that time I was growing my business, and I thought, oh, it's going to be a good opportunity to network and maybe get more business. But I realized very quickly that it was not about that. It was more about service and of friendships and about doing good in the community. And I stayed because once I realized what it was, I liked it. And it's just big because it wasn't nothing about like networking or making biggest business or anything like that. It was more about service and giving back to the community and helping others. And I like the four-way test because if you use that for your entire life, I mean, you won't go wrong. I mean, we're not perfect. Nobody's perfect.
Right.
We all make mistakes. We may rub somebody wrong and they don't like us or something. But if we live by those principles, you'll be fine.
It's so true. And what I was impressed with when I participated was the programs that the Rotary has created here in the Valley. So they do the honors night where they honor the students with, what is it, top 10%.
100% of the students in high school.
They do a good news minute at their meetings and collect dollars. So if you want to share something, you pay $1 in. And then with that funding, they used to purchase dictionaries. They've now found that the kids weren't using them, so they converted to books when they donate them to the elementary schools here in the Valley. Highway cleanup. And then let's talk about some of the international programs. I know that there's a group that travels to Mexico to help with infrastructure there, but there's also receiving students from other cultures and other communities and other countries even. So you host through YouthLink. There's also an opportunity for kids to go out and serve and do humanitarian projects. So let's talk about some of those programs. Do you have a favorite of those?
Well, all the ones you mentioned are my favorite because I mean even the dictionaries first, but now what we do is we read books every month of school year to the first graders, all in the valley, even the charter school, and then we give them the book that we read to them so they can start their own library because we want kids to love reading, and so I like that. And the money that we collect, like we have a fundraiser. We have changed in the past, but these couple of years we have had the Ribbon Railroad, which we partnered with the Heber Railroad,
Yeah.
and we have one night that is affordable for locals. It's $5 a ticket, and they can ride train. And that's a fundraiser that we do with the organizations that they sponsor, so we can have money to buy the books because books have become more and more expensive.
Right.
But we can give those books to them. We have other programs, like you said, how we clean up. And the Rotary International has the largest uh, foreign exchange student program in the world. And so the way it works is that if we have uh, a student from Wasatch High going international somewhere, then some kid from another country will come and stay here.
But there's different time frames, 3 months, 6 months,
It's
the full year.
it's usually either half of the year or the full school year. And so and it's very interesting because we get to there's two parts of this. One, kids from Heber Valley are going international. We have right now one in Spain and one in France.
Oh, wow.
And so we have here one from Argentina and one from Chile. And so and the families pay for it, but also there's families here that they host and become kind of like the kids for a little while. And they go to high school and they participate in the programs. They're here and over there where they are, they participate in the programs they are. And it's very interesting because
It's a good exchange of
yes,
cultures.
and it broadens the perspective of kids. It's like living abroad or outside the country. I mean, even inside of this country, you go to the east is way different than here, and so it's very interesting.
And then you also have the Interact program, which is the service club at high school.
That's correct, and that's been going for several years. And one of the biggest projects that they do a lot of projects in town, like with the Children's Justice Center, with the Peace House, with the food pantries, Christian Center. They partner with a lot of those. But one of the biggest uh, things that we do is the Mexico trip. We partner with the Puerto Peñasco Rotary Club, and so we between them and us, we create this program that we take high schoolers to Puerto Peñasco and we do service projects.
But it is work. This isn't a vacation.
Oh no, it's a service work.
You might be going down to Port Penasco and thinking, oh, that beautiful beach. Yeah. But it's a drive in a van. And what are some of the projects that they've been doing?
So this last year there was a dialysis center that closed on the pandemic, and it was kind of like abandoned. And so we went and fixed it up. We painted, we cleaned up, we did everything because they were ready to reopen. And then the next day we went to there's like a kind of like the People's Health Clinic here, but there's a clinic for people that don't have services there, and they have a soup kitchen, and so they didn't have tables or chairs. So our club donated the material, and we went and built benches and tables for.
So is this something that the kids have the skill set to do? Or
We have a supervisor, and we help them.
Okay.
But everybody is sanding, cutting, painting, drilling, and we have supervision there, and then they do that. I mean, and then we went to a school that I mean, it's like the desert over there. And so we planted some trees, but also we did an irrigation system so they can be watered so they don't die. And so those are the program. This is what we did just last year. We go every spring break, and we drive, and then we work for 3 days. We have one day for relaxing, and we drive back.
Yeah. It's a
And
work
so-
trip.
And yeah, I remember my daughter is too young, but because I was going and my wife was going, we took her. And I remember that in the evening when he was, okay, downtime, do whatever you want. She says, all I want to do is take a nap.
Just want to see.
She's so tired. Yeah, so they're hard workers, these kids, and it's been growing because, and this is the third year I've been, and I think they've been done about 5 trips. But the first year there was like 15 kids, and then it was like 20. This time we took 27 kids, and so, and it's a collaboration of a lot of people because we need to find the vans, we need to find the accommodations, we do a lot of stuff. But they also the students, the high school students, they pay a big portion of their way.
So they're paying to go and work.
Yes.
So it's made me wonder though, having grown up in Mexico, now raising your family here in the United States, going back to Mexico and doing these kind of projects, does it mean something different to you? And can you translate that to the students, how their work is really changing lives there?
Well, this is something that I really have very ingrained in myself. I grew up in Mexico. I was not rich, but I wasn't poor. But I had the opportunity to live around people that were poor in Mexico. Now, being poor in Mexico is very different from being poor here. I mean, because being poor here is probably you don't have cell phone, you don't have money for gas in your car or something like that. Being poor in Mexico is you don't have electricity, you have shoes, food. And so it's a big contrast. I mean, I'm pretty sure that there's poverty like that here, but in the places that I had the opportunity to live, I haven't seen that kind of poverty. And so going over there and being able to help people, it makes me happy. I mean, I one of the things that I will say that's why I volunteer is because I think that if I give back to the community, I'm helping someone. I mean, I would say I like the Michael Jackson song says, "If you want to change the world, change yourself."
Yeah.
But also, I think that changing the world of one person, you're helping change the world. You may not be saving the whales or attaining
Right.
world peace, but if you make a difference, a positive difference in the world of one person, you're changing the world because that person is going to change, and then the people around them will change.
It's that ripple effect.
Yeah, and so I think that doing a little bit of good in the world, it helps the world.
Yeah, I love that. Well, I want to transition our conversation to your participation in the Latino Coalition. A fairly new organization here in our valley, but I feel like it's making that bridge between people that are not Caucasian, because we are, as I was saying earlier, I remember growing up here and in high school having a Native American and one Hispanic in my class, and that was it. We had no diversity. And to now see that kind of blossoming to 30% in our community, but I still feel like there's this division, this them versus us, not just in the high school. And even though we have great programs like the dual immersion program, that I think the school district saw the need, what, 12, 13 years ago, and Terry Shoemaker really felt like it was important that the students that were moving here that were speaking Spanish learn English but not lose their Spanish language. And I remember speaking with him and him saying, we want to make sure that these kids can communicate with their parents because they're coming in and they're learning English at a more rapid rate than the parents are, but we don't want them to lose their culture. And I think his words were pretty prophetic because at the time there was this excitement, I think, with people that lived here that, oh, my child can learn Spanish. But I don't think a lot of people realized, oh, my child's learning English. And just last night, I was with Angelica, and she had a new student that just moved here to the States that only speaks Spanish. And she was translating because I was speaking in English, and Angelica was doing that work that you've done to translate to make that student feel comfortable. So let's talk about the Latino Coalition. What is it? How can people learn more? What are the programs that it's doing to kind of bridge that gap between the Hispanic community and the rest of us?
Okay. So the Latino Coalition, I had to go back before the Latino Coalition. So around that time that I joined the Rotary Club, I was neighbors with Todd Johnson, the high school principal at the time, and because we were neighbors and we saw each other not that often, I mean, at least every Sunday, he approached me and says like, "Hey, what can we do?" Because at that time he told me that very small percentage of the Hispanic students were graduating, and I kind of gave my ideas, and it made me thinking about what is happening. I didn't have high school kids at the time, and so I just they were about to be high schoolers, and but they also were not. I mean, it's in a combined. My wife is Caucasian. I'm Hispanic, so it's not the perfect example for me to know. But I started looking into it, and I realized, and I remember talking to him saying, I think the problem is that the parents don't know what's
What's
going
going
on.
on?
They don't know what's happening. There's difference between the school system here and wherever they come from. And so there's an issue there. And so they start implementing some of these things, trying to involve the parents. Now, I had the opportunity I was invited to take a class at the health department. It was strengthening families. And I did it with my teenagers. And I met Colleen Olsher. Colleen, she was in charge of prevention and outreach and all that. And she was doing some of the coalitions. That's when the Community Care Coalition came in and other coalitions. And she approached me and Rachel. I don't remember her last name, but she moved to Texas. That's no.
Right.
So she approached me and says, like, hey, would you like to do a coalition? It's like, what for? It's like to help the Hispanic people. And so with her and Trudy Bergton and some other people, we organized the Wasatch Latino Coalition, which was the purpose of it was kind of like to connect with resources, to kind of like inform people what they can do or what they can get if they need help.
Yeah.
And then Rachel moved to Texas.
Right.
And so it was kind of like me, and I kind of like didn't do much. But then doing interpreting, I met Judy Jensen.
Yeah.
And she was a social worker at the time, and now she works for the school. But anyway, so we talk about revamping the Wasatch Latino Coalition. And she said, well, I'll do it, but if you are co-chair with me.
Yuri was like, I don't want to take this on.
Yeah. So we took it together and we kind of revamped it 6 years ago. And so we changed a little bit of the mission and vision that we have, because we didn't want just to connect Hispanics with the resources there in the community. We want them to help themselves to become an integral part of the community and to be part of the community, not just the recipients of services.
Right.
And so we start changing, and we start partnering with a lot of people, with the school district, with the county, with Wasatch Community Foundation, with the Peace House, with the Christian Center, with a lot of people trying, because the services, I mean, we don't really create anything. We just basically connect. But also we start looking at ways of having the Hispanic families to become, like we help you and then you help someone else.
Yeah.
And become more integral part of the community. And we've been able to help like that. Now, Judy moved from the being a social worker to be part of the school. And it was at the time that my daughter was in the school, on the intermediate school. And so there's a program that was created it's called the Parent Leaders. And it's for Hispanic parent leaders and the other projects they have in the school. But the idea was to help the parents understand the school system, the grading, the SIS, and all the stuff, the Canvas, and attendance, and all
How to
that.
check homework, how to check grades instead of, no, mommy, I've got it. It's all
Yeah,
good.
yeah. So
It's all right. I get that too. The teacher hasn't updated the system. So that's a parent issue. That's not a culture issue.
no, but it was different because you
They
can
can
call,
have-
but you can call the school and say, hey, teacher, what's going on? And the parents, the Spanish parents, because they don't speak English, they won't call. They just rely on their kids. And so we've been working on that, and we have now like 30 parents on board. And so that has been a game changer, because I don't know if you know about the WIDA test that they had to take. All the other language speaker people that they're here, they have to pass that test in order to be fluent or consider fluent, or what's the other word they use? But anyways, they can speak the language.
Yeah.
And back with Todd Johnson was, I think that just 25% of the kids were passing that test in high school.
Right.
Now, in last year, all the kids in middle school passed the test,
Fantastic.
which is a big improvement.
Right.
And like you said, there's kids that are coming all the time from different countries, from Venezuela, from Colombia, lately a lot. And so they don't necessarily speak English when they come here, but they learn English fast. And so, but now having the parents involved, it helps them to be more successful at school. And so with that and the Wasatch Latino Coalition, we start doing other projects. Like two of the big ones, one is through the school, but they have the support of the Wasatch Latino Coalition, is the multicultural one. I don't know if you have had the opportunity to go.
I have not attended, but I have attended some of the Latino in Action activities at high school.
Mhm.
They did a quinceañera, and all the girls came in their beautiful dresses, and it was so lovely to see them shine in their own culture, yeah, and have that pride in their own culture. Yeah, so I do feel like those culture nights are so important.
Yeah. And it's becoming bigger and bigger. And now this last year they have countries. I mean, they have even Japan and Australia and other countries because it's a multicultural.
Right.
Now, the big event that we've been doing with the Wasatch Latino Coalition is the celebration of the Children's Day. In Mexico and other countries, we celebrate Children's Day. You know, like we have Father's Day, Mother's Day. We don't have Children's Day. Yeah. And yet,
Every day is Children's Day here.
so at the end of April, the April 30th is the Children's Day. And it's the third year that we do this event at the park where with sponsorships and the parent leaders and the Wasatch Latino Coalition, we, the Hispanic community, give back to the community. And there's treats that they receive, toys, and there's entertainment and balloons and all that. And it's just to celebrate the kids, but also is a way to the Hispanic community giving back to the general community. And everybody's invited, and this is what we do. This is why, because like you mentioned, we want to make sure that even when we're here, we embrace the American culture and become Americans, but also remember where our roots are and how where we come from, and embrace our culture, our background.
I love it. This has been so fascinating. I really, I've learned a lot today. So I appreciate you coming in. You know, we're here in the Gordon Law office and started this podcast because we really wanted to highlight some of the community builders, and although you are certainly one of those.
Oh, thank you.
I think you're doing a lot of work behind the scenes and serving our community in so many different ways. But I guess one of my last questions for you is how do you see us building a better bridge between the Hispanic community and those of us that maybe have spent a life here and don't know how to make that connection, especially when it feels like that language barrier is still there? What's your best advice for us to create those bridges?
Well, one of the things that's kind of like one of the goals that we have with the Latino Coalition. Because yes, the language barrier is a real thing. And it creates a natural segregation. And so, and I know segregation is a word that has a big bad connotation, but it's just like separation. You're different. I'm different. I don't feel comfortable with different. I'm feel comfortable with my similarities. And so that's why it's a very distinct separation. I mean, you can go to any high school in the world, I think, and you can see the same affinities groups is here. And
The athletes,
they
the
have
kids who like to study, the musicians, the theater.
yeah, so that separation is going to be always there because if we're theater people, we're going to like each other more than we like the cowboys or I don't know the athletes.
Yeah.
So that's a natural thing. But I think that the like I say, one of the goals of the Latino Coalition is just to break some of those barriers. Why? Because even when we have differences, we have something in common.
Yeah.
We all like we talk. We're all parents,
Yeah.
and we have the same issues with our kids.
Right.
Okay, so we try to bridge those things through that. Our kids, I think, is the best way to do those bridges because they become friends at school, and then and I think that what we need to do is just like get a little bit out of our comfort zone and just reach out. Like you mentioned, like I mentioned before, these service groups that I am involved with, it's not that I'm gonna get paid or I'm gonna get a big award or anything like that. I don't do that. I just like it because if I like my neighbor better, I'm gonna be more comfortable living in my home rather than I mean I've seen neighborhoods they just hate each other and just like why do you even live?
They go in the garage and shut the door.
Yeah, but I think you get out of your comfort zone and say hi and just like because as you may no speak Spanish, you know a few words. And as they may not speak English, they know a few words. But if we try to reach out, those little differences start. We start finding those commonalities, and then you start saying, "Hey, he's not as different as I thought that he was, because he has the same issues that I have, and maybe we can help each other."
I feel like there's two things that bring people together: food and music. And so with the Community Alliance for Main Street, we have started more music programs at Main Street. And it's made me think maybe we need to do more, invite more of the Hispanic culture to come and perform some of their music. We're hearing it a lot through the construction sites.
At the restaurants.
And the restaurants, yes. And who doesn't love Mexican food? So it's true, but I appreciate just learning more about the Wasatch Latino Coalition and the work that you're doing at Heber Valley Rotary. In closing, I just want to know your why. Why do you serve, Alfonso? What's your why?
I think I mentioned it. It's just, if I can make a difference in the life of one person, I'm making a difference in the world. I think I learned this from my father and my mother. When I was growing up in Mexico, my dad was involved in many things. And I saw, I mean, I cannot tell you how many, we had a big house, and I cannot tell you how many times we have people living with us. And now that I look back, I think, who were those people?
Right.
Now they're friends,
Right.
and I know them,
Right.
but
But your parents
But-
opened their homes.
yes, and I remember several people, they stay 6 months, 1 year living with us because my dad was helping. And so I think that that's something that I learned by action, not by word. And now I want to become that. I mean, when my dad passed away, I came to a realization that he always told me one thing. He says, "Don't forget to do the important things because you're so busy doing the urgent things." And so I I have this saying in my head all the time. It's like, nobody's gonna care if I sell more policies or if I sell more insurance. When I am dying, they're gonna care about what memories I made.
And how you made them feel.
How do I make them feel? How did I help them? Those are the things they're gonna remember. They're not gonna remember if I insured their car or not.
But we are grateful for the work. Alfonso, I have loved this, and I got a little emotional. I think our parents really do set the stage for us, and it's our responsibility to take that next step and to bring people into our lives that we can change. So thank you for your example and your service in our community, being a community builder, and I look forward to building more bridges in this community and welcoming the Latino community. I think we need to do a better job, and I think you and the work that Yuri Jensen are doing is so important. So I look forward to maybe following up.
And this year we have a new co-chair, Emma Ceballos from the Peace House,
Okay.
and she's helping.
fabulous.
She's fabulous too. So there's a lot of people.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people. I mean, all these things that I mentioned, you may think that I'm just a participant of all these things. There's a lot of people in our valley. I mean, when we do the food drives with the Rory, I am amazed how generous this community is. And that tells me this is a community that has many, 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 many good people
That's
in
true.
our valley.
It is true. It's true. Well, thank you again. And just as a reminder of the Heber Valley Life podcast, we really started this to highlight the people and the community builders. You are one of those. We have so many good people. Even just learning more about these programs, it makes me want to do more and to reach out and learn more. So I think we all have our opportunities to jump in and make those connections. So Rachel Kahler, Community Alliance for Main Street Director, but I want to do better. So I appreciate your example, and let's do it together.
Oh, thank you for inviting me. Hopefully we can do more good. Or
Well, thanks again for listening. We're going to sign off for now, but we'll be in touch again with another great community builder. Again, we're grateful for Gordon Law Group for allowing us to be here in the studio. And thanks again. Signing off.